Welcome back to the review space. This is going to be my Q&A video. That's right. Questions being answered by the review space. That's right, me. It's been a while. Have I ever done a Q&A? I can't even remember. I think I did maybe a long time ago. But it's certainly been a while. It feels like it's been a while. I think I did maybe at least once, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a long time since I've done a Q&A. I think it's about damn time. Some of these questions go back like a year ago, 2 years ago. That's how long ago some of these questions go back. And it's pretty sad, but I just gotta apologize. I mean, yeah, I'm fucking, my bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't get that many questions. So, I don't really make Q&A videos that often. So, if you guys want some of your questions answered, you gotta send me a lot more questions and shit, you know what I mean, to get me interested in answering them. I mean, I'm eventually going to answer them, but it's going to take a long time. So, apologize, definitely, for taking way too long. Alright, anyway, enough babbling, here we go. Question number 1, this one is from Shroom. Hello, the 90s Kid Show. This is how long ago this was. This was back when my alias was the 90s Kid Show. That was like 2 years ago. Anyway. I would just like to ask you if your fanboy reviews, countdowns, and etc. are just a joke. You damn right they're just a joke. Why? Because it's not meant to be taken seriously. But I have fun with it, and that's basically my intention. Fanboy reviews, countdowns, it's all satirical, fucking satire, it's just meant to poke fun at shit. And I love doing it, it's fun as hell. I haven't done a fanboy reviews in a while, or any of the countdowns, probably since early 2015. So it's been a year and a half. It's been a long time since I've done any of the fanboy reviews material. And will I get back to doing those? Will I, start doing fanboy reviews countdowns again? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It depends on if I feel like it. That's also like, fanboy reviews, the True Gamer, those kind of videos. They're in the same mold. They from a similar approach. I mean, they're fun to make. I love making those. Always have fun. But at the same time, part of the reason too is just I just felt like I've done so much of those already. It's like not to say I ran it into the ground, but it feels like I want to try something a little bit different, I want to try something new, talk about some other topics instead of just doing, making fun of fucking video games that just came out, Instead of always doing that, it felt like I was just getting way too repetitive with it. But I might get back to them, the True Gamer or fanboy reviews, or maybe some new shit. But it just depends on what I feel like, if it's fun to do, if I'm having fun with it, I'm definitely gonna, keep doing it. But so yeah, they're basically just a fucking joke, and they're not really meant to be taken seriously. If you take it seriously, you're a fucking idiot. You're a goddamn moron, and get a fucking life. Like honestly, it's meant to be. And not everybody takes it seriously. There's a lot of people that watch those videos, and they're like, oh yeah, man, this was great. This was fucking awesome, or this was, I found your video funny, and not everybody finds it funny. Some people take it seriously, and that's the problem too, is that there's a lot of little kids that watch YouTube. They go on YouTube, a lot of little 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old little kids, and so these little kids can't tell that, maybe this guy's just kidding around, maybe this guy's just putting on a character, so they take everything seriously. And I think that's the dangers of being a fucking kid on the internet, is that you can't tell what's real or what's fake, or you can't tell if somebody is just being a satirical character. They take everything seriously, and that's the stupidity of kids, I think. They're just too ignorant, and they're too fucking stupid, and that's the problem with little kids being online, especially like unsupervised kids. That's the problem with little children, like being on the fucking internet. If you're a grown-ass adult, and you take everything too seriously, I have no fucking, I don't even know what to say to that, It's like, not everything on the internet is fucking serious. And that's the reality of it. And if you can't deal with it, move the fuck on and stop watching any of my videos. Like, I don't give a fuck. Alright, so, question number 2, this is from Rix. Dude, just watch your videos about the shit that is Destiny. I agree with what you say and can't agree more. Had me laughing my ass off through a lot of it as well. I'm looking forward to Advanced Warfare as well. I stopped buying after Black Ops 1. I hope that this new one can do it right again. Switch my Xbox One for a PS4 after I had my fix of Titanfall. What's your PSN ID? Well, first of all, my PSN ID, I don't remember my PSN account. I have a PSN account. I've been using it for a couple of years, but I don't remember it in that it's like a name and then like a bunch of numbers. So it's like blah blah blah, the name, and then like 12978, some shit like that. So I don't even memorize it. So if you ask me if I was walking down the street, if you ask me in real life, hey, what's your PSN? I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't, because I don't memorize it. I remember many years ago, like about 5 years ago, people would ask me my PSN. People that wanted to have a like a PlayStation connection. They want to be like, hey, what's your PSN? Let's go play an online game. But it's like I don't even remember I don't remember my PSN account. And even back then, like 5 years ago, I didn't even have a PSN account. But I mean, like, people would ask me those kind of questions. It takes me back almost to like when I was way younger, back in like early 2000s, and people would ask me for my MSN and shit like that, and I didn't even have an MSN. Everybody had a Hotmail except for me, because I got the internet way later than the other kids. My family is really fucking poor. You come from a poor family. We didn't have no fucking internet until like much later. We didn't get internet until like 2002 or 2003 or something. And by then, that was like high school. And everybody else, since like elementary, so since the late 90s, all my classmates and all my friends had the internet. I was the only guy that didn't have it. So it definitely felt like a loser back in those days. I felt like an outcast. Not having the internet. But I didn't really sweat it too much because I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't have the internet, didn't have any experience with the MSN or any shit like that. So, what I'm saying? I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about email and Hotmail. I'm answering a PSN-related question, but it all ties together. So as far as you talking about, like, Destiny, yeah, I mean, Destiny is one of those overhyped games. Even, like, the Giant Bomb cast. Like, I remember listening to the review of it, and they were like, oh, man, it's barely, like, 3/4 of a game. Something along those lines. It's like, it's not even finished. It doesn't even feel like a complete game. Like, even after all the bonus content and the DLC and all that shit. So, I mean, Destiny is one of those overhyped games that came out in the past couple of years that this generation of fucking games has so many of those overhyped titles. And I get it, man. They're trying. Some of these companies are trying to create something new, trying to create new IPs, trying to get some money, trying to make money and, like, create a successful franchise. But if they're going to release bullshit, then it's just going to disappoint the fans, and they're going to be like, man, fuck this. I'd rather go play something else. And you're talking about Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty. I mean, you talk about you stop buying after Black Ops 1. I still have Black Ops 2 for the 360, for the Xbox 360. I've had that for a couple of years now. Like, well over 2 years, I still haven't played Black Ops 2. I haven't touched it. I don't give a fuck about Black Ops. I got it in a bundle, what I'm saying, with a bunch of other, like, games and shit, and that was one of the titles on there. And as far as, first-person shooters, I mean, I just fuck with whatever I like. Whether it's old games from, like, the PS2, like Time Splitters, those kind of games, or if it's some of the 7th generation stuff, like, fucking Killzone 2 or Killzone 3, or, I mean, right now, the Call of Duty game that I have on the PS3 is World at War, and that one I haven't played in a while, too. But the one, some of my favorite first-person shooters would be, like, Bioshock 1, Bioshock 2. I love those single-player campaign that what I'm saying, storyline, great artwork, great stage designs, great graphics. I love that shit. I just finished this was a long time ago, but I played this game called Dishonored. That was a long time ago, but I like Dishonored. Dishonored was a really fun first person stealth game. It's not a shooter, but I mean it's a first-person stealth. That's my kind of game. It's very fun to play. Enjoyed it. I liked it so much that I bought like the DLC, or I downloaded a bunch of the stuff that's available on the PSN. So whatever the hell was available, downloaded for Dishonored. So I would say my favorite first-person shooter of all time would probably be Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Like if I had to pick one single first-person shooter, it'd be Vegas 2. For whatever system, 360 or PS3. I wouldn't play it on any other system. I mean, I don't know if it came out on the PSP. I'm sure if it came out on the PSP, it'd probably suck balls. But the one on the PS3 or the 360, I really enjoyed because fucking awesome. My God, love the cover system. I know the graphics are dated as hell. The game is probably about like 8 years old at this point. 8 years old. It came out like in 2008. But it's so fun, very challenging. The terrorist hunt, I love playing the terrorist hunt. It's like 40 different enemies. You fight all of them in a single stage. These massive stages, you got to take them on, and they're all hiding out. They're all in different areas of the stage. You got to kill them all. Just a fun game for a single player. I'm a single player type of guy. I don't really play online multiplayer games aside from some like little bullshit games that like website games, those kind of games, like a billiards pool, online pool. That's I play that once in a while. I remember playing a fucking game back in the day called Candy Stand, Candy Stand Pool, I should say. It was on a website called Candy Stand, and that was like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I don't. Okay, I'm getting off fucking topic, but yeah, Call of Duty. Haven't really gotten too much into Call of Duty in the past several years. The last one that I truly enjoyed, I gotta say, was Modern Warfare. Was it Modern Warfare 2? COD Modern Warfare 2? The one from 2009. The one from fucking 09. I remember enjoying that. The campaign was pretty fun. But I mean, there's other ones like Battlefield. I still haven't gotten through Battlefield 3. I remember enjoying Battlefield Bad Company 2 for the 360, and I got all the other games on the PS3 as well. So I got a lot of fucking shooters though. First person shooters. They just kind of sit around because I haven't really gotten to them. I should start playing more of these fucking games. I've been buying a lot of games in the past couple of years, and most of them, I don't know. I got to get through some of them. All right, this one is from Messiah. Alright, great channel, man. I really miss the 90s. Yeah, definitely. This wasn't a question, but I wanted to include this in because this was from the same era, the 90s Kid Show and all that, and I made videos about the 90s and stuff. I still do. I just recently made a top 10 Pogs designs, so I talked about something from the 90s, a 90s trend or a 90s fad. But definitely, I totally agree with you in that. I miss the 90s too. It was a great decade for a child. It's my childhood. A lot of fun moments, a lot of fun memories, fun video games. My first movie that I watched was in the early 90s called Jurassic Park. What a hell of a first movie that was. So the 90s is definitely missed. I don't think everything was amazing in the 90s, like everything was the best in the 90s and like everything else afterwards is shitty or whatever. I'm not one of those guys where everything today sucks and the 90s was the best and all be all. There's some things in the 90s that was better, and there's some things in other decades and other generations that's better. I mean, you can even argue that music from the 90s sucked compared to music from the 70s, in the 60s, in the 80s. I made a video, 80s versus 90s, and I compared the 80s music versus the 90s music, and I personally felt like the 80s music was a little bit better than the 90s music. I preferred it, even though I didn't grow up in the 80s, but listening to a lot of those amazing, like, new wave and rock songs and mainstream songs and electro and freestyle music from the 1980s, it was absolutely amazing compared to the 90s. The 90s was full of, like, shitty music, too. A lot of just garbage in the 1990s. Alright. This one, question number 4. This one's from Supervids. By the way, some of these names, I shortened them, so it's like a full name, and then Supervids is part of the name, just to make it a little bit shorter. Hey man, I'm a huge fan of yours and I have a request for you to review, and as I think it needs to follow a follow-up to a previous critique you've done. If you remember doing your critique on epic rap battles of history, there's something else I've found that you should address. It's called Epic Rap Battle Parodies Cringe. Just check them out for a few battles, you'll understand why it's even worse than ERB. For some reason, it's stemmed this group that does nothing but copy them. It'd be hilarious if you tear these guys apart. It sounds like you've done just a good enough job of critiquing them, like right there in that paragraph. The epic rap battles thing, I'm so sick of that. Like, I remember seeing that shit for years and years and years, even before I started making videos on the TheReviewSpace channel. Like, way before. They've been around for a long time. So I've seen these guys for like, since like 2009 or 2010 or some shit. From my memory anyway. I don't know how long they've been around. Maybe I'm just fucking, my memory isn't serving me right. I don't know. It feels like they've been around forever anyway. But yeah, their topics are fucking, whatever. It's a hack channel. It's a fucking shitty hack channel that does nothing but make up shit. They got crappy pre-written rhymes that's fabricated, and everything is what do you call it? Manufactured, just fake shit, completely, fake garbage. And I'm not a fan of it. I like real battle rapping, real battle MCs. And if you want real battle MCing, just check out any Scribble Jam battles. Scribble Jam. Eminem he battled in Scribble Jam way back in '97. You know what I'm saying? And that continued. That battle continued, I think, to 2008. So they don't have Scribble Jam anymore. It's been like 8 years since that ended. Unfortunately, I do miss Scribble Jam. I gotta say, that was an awesome tournament. I would say my favorite Scribble Jam was from 2005. That was awesome. There was a guy named Justice. He was from Australia. This Australian battle rapper, and he fucking killed it. He all the way from Australia. I think he won like a tournament over there to qualify. He went to America, and I think because Scribble is held in Cincinnati, Cincy, he goes there in front of this massive American audience. A lot of American fans, and he just fucking destroyed it. He battled guys like Thesaurus, who is now like a battle rap legend. Guys like Iron Solomon. So Iron, another guy who's like a veteran, a legend in the battle rapping thing. And that's the same tournament that involved guys like No Can Do, and a lot of these amazing battle-tested beasts. These guys were incredible, and fucking Justice came out on top. So that's my personal favorite, because the competition in 2005 was amazing. But anyway, and then there's the other ones like Grind Time used to be hot back 5-6 years ago. I know they fell off in the past several years, and then King of the Dot, Smack URL, those pre-written battle leagues. I don't really keep up with those battle leagues anymore. I haven't really checked out a battle in a long time. I can't remember. I think I saw Disaster versus Iron Solomon. That was the last time I saw a battle. Pretty good battle. I really enjoyed it. Disaster versus Iron Solomon. I highly recommend that battle. Now, as far as this battle parodies bullshit, I'm not gonna fucking check it out. I'm sorry. I got my limits. I don't want to check out. If this is a parody channel of epic rap battles, this means that they're parodying something that's already garbage to begin with. So they're parodying something that's fucking trash. Screw these guys, okay? I mean, if they're having fun, whatever. That's fine. Good for them. They're having fun. But I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and waste my time watching a bunch of parodies of some garbage channel. Epic rap battles. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Question number 5 from Wolf. This one's from Wolf. I agree with you. GTA 5 is highly overrated. The last true GTA was San Andreas on PS2. Any gamer with brains can see that something has happened to this franchise and it isn't for the good. Many issues I could mention, but I will just say that any kind of fun is punished, and the main aim appears to be stripping money from gamers and sadly catering to kids and ignoring adult gamers. Again, not a question. I just wanted to include this one too because I agree with what you said. And I want to kind of reply to what you mentioned. San Andreas was great. I actually saw San Andreas on the 360 just in recent months. I'll be checking out Best Buy or Toys R Us and stuff, these, whatever stores, and I'd be seeing Xbox 360 San Andreas. I'm like, holy shit, it's like $20, brand new, $19.99. I kind of want to buy it because I really enjoyed San Andreas. I thought it was such a fun game on the PlayStation 2, but I already have it on the PS2, and to get it on the Xbox 360, yeah, I'm sure, it's the HD graphics, I'm sure it's a little bit improved looking and everything, and it's probably worth buying just for $20, but yeah, maybe I should, but fuck, I already got it on the PS2, so that's a PS2 classic. That's a PS2 game that is already amazing on the PS2, despite the outdated graphics on the PlayStation 2. And yeah, as far as GTA 5, I enjoyed it. I mean, I liked GTA 5. It is definitely an overrated game, of course. Just like the typical Grand Theft Auto game, I would say GTA 4 is even more overrated. Like, that one really left a bad taste in my mouth when everybody sucked GTA 4's nutsack like a bunch of fucking drones. All the reviews came out, and it wasn't just like the fans or the gamer, the regular gamers. It was all the critiques, all the critics, all the fucking reviews on the run, and all those guys, like what do you call it, Victor Lucas and those guys. They all gave it like perfect 10s. They gave it perfect fucking 10s. I'm sitting here like, GTA 4 is not a perfect 10, not even close. It's a decent game. It's alright, I enjoy it. I still have it on the PS3. But it's not, god damn it, a perfect 10. Give me a fucking break. Not every game deserves a perfect 10, and not every GTA game deserves a perfect 10. Just because it's big, or it's got a big budget, or because it's got a big fucking size. Or it's because it has amazing graphics. Yes, GTA is better than the average, like, shitty game that, let's say, the Wii. The Wii has a lot of shitty shovelware games. Or, well, every console has crappy games. Movie-based games. Iron Man on the PS3 and all that garbage. So GTA, obviously they took time and effort to make it, but it's like, don't sit there and fucking lie to me. Don't lie to me and tell me that GTA 4 is the best game of all time, or it's a perfect 10. Fuck that. It's got flaws. It's got glitches out the ass. Don't lie to me, motherfucker. And you're not doing a fanboy reviews. I do the fanboy reviews. It's meant to be fucking satire. I'm doing a funny voice in most of them. If I'm sitting here telling you that, like, fucking, like, Resident Evil 4 sucks, or Mario sucks, like Mario Galaxy sucks, that's obviously, like, I'm fucking putting on a stupid character. But if you're a real video game reviewer that's supposed to be taken seriously, like Reviews on the Run, or IGN, or fucking GameSpot, or GamePro, or any of these fucking assholes, 1UP website, whoever, and you tell me that GTA 4 is a perfect 10, or GTA 5 is a perfect 10, fuck you. I can't take seriously. That I can't even agree with that. A perfect 10 is supposed to be an amazing, perfect game. That's what a 10 out of 10 is. Those are extremely hard to come by. I'm trying to think of a perfect 10 out of 10 game that I can think of right now, and there's none. Those are the closest would be games like StarCraft. I love the original StarCraft and Brood War, SC and Brood War from the late 90s. Amazing RTS, real-time strategy games, great graphics for its time, great storytelling, great voice acting, great gameplay. Single-player campaign is off the hook. Multiplayer lasted for years and years and years. It was so fucking fun. So that's a fucking classic to me. So that game I'd give like a 9.5 or a 9.7 or something. So even I can't even give that a perfect fucking 10, because maybe it doesn't feel purely perfect. There's certain flaws about it, certain things I didn't like about it, like maybe it's, I'm trying to think of a bad thing about StarCraft. It's such a good game, guys. It's It's not 3D. There you go. It's not 3D. Fuck StarCraft. It's not 3D. Piece of shit. It's still a top-down fucking over-the-head bullshit. Fuck that. But yeah, in all seriousness, I mean, there's very few games that's like a perfect 10 or would even come close. I'm trying to think of Metal Gear Solid 4. I thought was amazing, tremendous game. I give that like a high 9 or something like that. Not maybe even a 9.5 on a really good day. But Metal Gear Solid 4, I enjoy. Some people might think it's overrated, so that's cool too. I can understand if people think Metal Gear Solid 4 is overrated. But with Grand Theft Auto fucking 5 and GTA 4, all this GTA fucking games, I mean, they don't even have the atmosphere of like Vice City. Vice City was fucking amazing. With its atmosphere, that 80s vibe, that 80s feel, and you hear the music and the lighting and the neon lights, and you're driving around and you're listening to fucking Flock of Seagulls and shit like that, and Duran Duran, and the lingo and the 80s nostalgia, fucking just awesome. It's not a perfect game. There's a lot of things that I didn't like about Vice City. The controls I felt was really shitty, and very especially now it's really outdated. It feels so fucking kind of clumsy and kind of shit. I hate the controls sometimes, It feels a little bit awkward. Like controlling the vehicles feels kind of fucked up. Controlling your character, it doesn't. There's certain things that could be improved. The hand-to-hand combat could be improved. There's a lot of things that could be improved. But those games hold a special place in my memories because Vice City had that awesome 80s vibe. Really got me into the 80s music when I was a teenager in the early 2000s. And with San Andreas, huge fucking map, amazing fucking game, great gameplay, just a massive world, and a lot of things to do, to explore. So that was fucking awesome. And GTA 4, GTA 4 had what? Good graphics for its time. It had good graphics for its time. And that was it, what I'm saying? Some pretty good music, and the same predictable gameplay that we've seen since the early 2000s. And then fucking GTA 5, I would say is a little bit better than GTA 4, in my opinion. I enjoyed it a little bit better. Definitely overrated. It's not a fucking perfect 10. There's things that I didn't... With GTA 5, I had to fucking find my own games to play, like within the fucking... The city. I remember like being bored one day. I was like, what else can I do with GTA 5? I remember beating the game. It took me, a couple of weeks or whatever, and I'm sitting there bored, not doing anything with inside the game world. So I just decided to blow things up and shoot missiles and rocket launchers and shit like that. And then the fucking cops, like you mentioned, any kind of fun is punished, and that's so true with GTA fucking franchise. You know what I'm saying? They strip away money from the gamers, but the fun part, that's what really gets me, is that you can't really have too much fun with GTA. That's another problem, is that the fucking cops come after you. I hate that shit. It's like, that's why I prefer Saints Row a lot more. I'm not saying that Saints Row is way, way better than GTA. GTA has its positive qualities, and Saints Row has its positive qualities. But if I had to pick between the two, I'm picking Saints Row. Even though, yeah, the graphics are shittier on Saints Row. The environments are shittier on Saints Row. Saints Row is not as serious. It's not as in-depth with the storyline and the character development and all that. It doesn't have a massive epic feel that GTA has. But at the same time, Saints Row has a lot more freedom. You can do more things. You can do superhero shit. You can replay missions over and over again. There's a lot of fun missions to play, and different varieties in the fucking missions. Customization, way more customization. So Saints Row is my franchise. That's my favorite, like, open world killing game, you can say, or third world, like, crime game, shooting game. Yeah, I just hate the fact that, like, with GTA 5, I remember there's that fucking, you remember that tunnel in GTA 5? There was a tunnel in GTA 5 where you headed it inside. It's basically, it went into underground. It's an underground fucking, like, way. And you go inside there and you lose the cops. So what I did was I stood right in front of the fucking tunnel. I would shoot at the fucking cars and all the different vehicles coming by, because it's right next to the freeway, the highway, and I would shoot at the fucking all the whatever random vehicles, and of course I would draw in the fucking cops. The cops would come after me, try to kill me, raise the fucking stars, 5-star, 4-star, whatever it was. So they would all come after me. So I'd head back inside the tunnel, drive away with my car, and just escape and do it over and over again. That was my personal fun with GTA 5, because I did that over and over and over again. That was my personal little, like my mini game, because I had to do something fun in the game. I had to make a game for myself to make it interesting. That's the fucking problem with GTA. There's nothing to do with that after a while. Alright, next question. This is by Contra. Question number 6. What is your top 5 games you do like at the time? How about shows? What is your 3 shows you like watching? As far as shows, television shows, I haven't watched TV in about 6 years. Late 2010 is when I stopped watching television. The cable thing, I stopped getting the cable thing. I don't give a fuck about that anymore. And I'm fine with that, completely fine with that, because I watch everything on anything that I want online. I stream everything, just like any sane human being with decent connection on the internet. Now, as far as TV shows specifically, I do like Lucha Underground. Love Lucha Underground. I've been enjoying it since Season 1 from 2014, so it's been about 2 years when it started on the El Rey network, so I do enjoy that. So I do watch that every single week, every time it comes on. So I try to stream that as quickly as possible. So I love Lucha Underground, love the action on that. Very wrestling heavy with what I watch on as far as television related. WWE Raw, SmackDown Live, I like that stuff. The Cruiserweight Classic I enjoyed. A lot of wrestling stuff. I'm a big wrestling mark, a wrestling fan, so to speak. So that's what I enjoy watching. As far as anything else, I used to fuck with Game of Thrones, but I haven't watched it in 2 years. I remember I made that video. I stopped watching Game of Thrones, and that was 2 years ago, 2014. And that was it. Like Season 4, after Season 4, I was done. I was like, fuck this. But I enjoyed Season 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, I enjoyed a lot. So I'd recommend it, but not everybody likes that kind of that genre. Let's see. And what's your top 5 games you do like? I also want to add, I do like watching movies. I buy a lot of, not a lot, but occasionally here and there I'll buy like DVDs and Blu-rays of movies that I enjoyed, movies that I like, and movies that I haven't seen yet. So I've been watching a lot of movies recently on my PS3. The PS3, fucking awesome. Blu-ray player and DVD player. And it's the perfect fucking system for like a multimedia. What's your top 5 games you do like at the time? I got your question a long time ago. This was like early 2015, so this is a really old question. So my answer last year would have been very different from my answer now. But as far as now, I'm constantly playing this DS game. It's a little shitty like DS game. Not shitty, but like just a little obscure DS game called 101 in 1 Megamix or something like that. It's like it's one of those like collection games on a DS, like a mini mix, mega mix. Not a party game, but just one of those. I wouldn't even call it shovelware. Some people might call it shovelware, but I like a little game in there called Hyperspace. Hyperspace is this little fucking like shoot 'em up. It's basically just one level, one simple background in outer space, but it looks so beautiful. It's in outer space, very blue and bright with planets and shit like that. And you're shooting upwards, like, those typical old school, like, arcade shoot-em-ups, where you're a little ship, it's like a 2D, on a 2D fucking thing, and you're shooting upwards, as countless, fucking airplanes come down and try to kill your character. And you basically die in one hit. So it's a one-hit kill. You die, if you get hit once, game over, so you gotta do it over and over again. And I've been playing that repetitively. That I can never put down. I'm always playing that. In the past couple of weeks, I've been so hooked on that. And it's just a little, like, obscure, small little mini-game. It's not even, like... It's not a big game. It's not GTA or Saints Row or any of those console games. It's just a little handheld mini-game. So it's no different than an Angry Birds or anything, those little downloadable mobile phone games. You know what I mean? But it's just so fun for me because... that's the kind of gamer I am. You know, I love games like Tetris. Those little handheld, very quick, very arcadey, very they're so fun to play, and they have a lot of replay value, and they don't necessarily have a massive fucking story that you have to spend 30 minutes watching a cutscene. You gotta spend 20 minutes listening to a cutscene or a cinematic or some stupid shit like that. Not saying that those are always bad, but I mean, like, I love those simple old school shoot 'em ups and beat 'em ups and those kind of games. But aside from that, as far as like games, you know, like big time games, I buy a lot of games, mostly PS3, because I've been fucking with the PS3 for a couple of years. Heavy, lots of PS3. I'm always going to the stores. I'm always buying like old PS3 games that I haven't played in, you know, like I never got a chance to play like 6 or 7 years ago. Like recently, I defeated X-Men Origins Wolverine, and I found it very similar to God of War. I love the God of War franchise, so I just recently beat X-Men Wolverine on the PS3, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Great action, great gameplay. You know, I really enjoyed it from beginning to end. It was pretty damn way better than the stupid movie from 2009. You know what I'm saying? So the video game destroyed the fucking shitty movie from 2009. That stupid X-Men Origins bullshit. Oh man, but they do have the same stupid crap. Like in the game, in the fucking PS3 game, Deadpool is still, you know, the shitty like version, you know, the shitty Deadpool that his mouth is all sewn up, and his skin is all burnt and stuff like. It's not the real Deadpool that we know with the fucking red costume and shit. But you said top 5 games you do like at the time. I'm just gonna give you top 5 games that my favorite of all time, and I would say Rainbow Six Vegas 2. That's my favorite shooter probably of all time. There's a lot of great shooters out there, but that's like my number one. As far as fighting games, anything Tekken, you know, Tekken is fucking awesome. Love Tekken, will never get tired of it. Whether Dark Resurrection or Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Street Fighter Cross Tekken is pretty good too. It's not a real Tekken game, but it's more of a fucking 2D fighting game, like a Street Fighter. Tekken Tag Tournament 2, you know, those kind of games. What else? Yeah, StarCraft, always one of the best RTS games of all. StarCraft was amazing. The original SC Brood War from the late 90s. Saints Row would definitely be up there. The Saints Row series, so all of them. Saints Row 2, Saints Row the 3rd, Saints Row 4. Any of those ones I fucking love. And number 5 would probably be... Maybe... Man, if I was a kid, I would have probably mentioned Pokemon, hands down. Like Pokemon Red and Blue, that generation, you know, the Generation 1, I really enjoyed Gen 1. And even Generation 2, I thought Generation 2 was really good too. Incredible stuff. I would say Generation 2 was better than Generation 1. It certainly had more improvements over Generation 1, but that's just my opinion. I still enjoy Pokemon. You know, I still got Black and Platinum and shit like that. Once in a while, I'll still play those games. I still like them, but I feel like they're a little bit kiddie now. They're a little bit too childish. You know, it's too PG. It's too like for little kids. It's not even PG. It's G. It's like fucking rated G. It's like a Disney movie. You know, like a Disney game. It's so non-violent. It's so They don't have any profanity. No sexiness, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so for kids. So Pokemon would definitely be one of the classics, though, for sure. Like the original series would be one of the better ones. And any of the fucking platformers, you know, like Mario and you know, those kind of games. Donkey Kong Country from when I was a kid. Mario RPG. The Super Nintendo had some awesome freaking games. So Super Nintendo games are definitely a classic. Alright, let's move on, baby. Let's move on. Shit, I think I just missed a question. Hold on. This is from Contra. Wait, hold on. Wait a second. Did I fucking miss? Yes, okay. Alright, next question. This is also by Contra. So another question from the same guy. I read like last month that CM Punk is possibly going to UFC. He went to the company and got his interviews and got pictures with them. So if he does well enough, we can see him fight for real sometime next year. Yep. This is another old question from a year and a half ago, so yeah, I am way too late on these freaking questions, but it's getting answered now. CM Punk did fight in the UFC. if you've been living under a rock, everybody knows at this point in 2016, September 2016, he fought at the UFC. He lost to Mickey Gall in just a little over 2 minutes. He got taken down really quickly and got choked out, rear naked choke. He didn't get choked out, I shouldn't say that. He tapped out. He was getting choked and then he tapped out. And by the end of the fight, he got cauliflower ears because he got fucked up. I mean, he lost that match pretty one-sidedly, and it was a pretty sweet beatdown, I gotta be honest. And I'm not wishing like CM Punk lost or whatever. I didn't really care about him going to the UFC. As far as like hearing the news, I was like, oh, okay, he wants to try something a little different. He's into the MMA thing, so that's, it's not the first time that a pro wrestler headed into MMA, into the UFC. I mean, there's been so many. When I was a kid, goddamn Ken Shamrock, he used to be in the UFC and then he became a wrestler. So back in the 90s, it was the other way around. It was MMA legends becoming wrestlers instead of now pro wrestling legends wanting to become MMA fighters. It's kind of weird how the trends turn around and stuff like that. But he fought, and after his fight, like he lost pretty badly. He's probably gonna get cut from the UFC. From what I understand, he might get. He's not gonna be in the UFC, and I can't imagine them keeping him because the reality is that he performed pretty poorly, and I don't think that UFC is going to want to keep him around because it destroyed so much of the credibility of that fucking organization. Somebody who has very little experience, somebody who is not really proven, and he fucking got destroyed just because he's got a big brand name and he's a big celebrity, doesn't mean anything if he can't perform well inside the octagon. So he's probably going to get cut, and he's probably going to go somewhere else. He's probably going to fight in some other promotion, whether it's some lower level promotion or what have you. So whatever. I mean, that's a CM Punk's decision. That's his life. It is what it is. Do I want to watch any more of his fights after this? Not really. I'm not really interested anymore, especially after how he lost. I'm not interested in any CM Punk fights anymore because I was never the biggest CM Punk fan, but seeing him get destroyed so quickly, I'm just not interested anymore. Alright, next question. This is from Scarlett. Question number 7. Hey, I like your channel and want to know what your thoughts are to the game of the year for 2015 and gaming in general in 2015. If you're making a video, that would be even better. Have a nice week. Yeah, Scarlett sent me this question like I think the end of last year or earlier this year. So this was a long time ago. So this was just like at the end of 2015. From what I understand and from what I can fucking remember, Metal Gear Solid 5 got really high reviews and like a pretty positive reception, but I've stopped fucking with Metal Gear. After Metal Gear Solid 4, that was pretty much it for me. I thought it was a really good ending and all that, and it was very conclusive, and it was very there was a lot of closure in it, and it felt like, wow, that was it. What an end of a franchise. What a way to end a franchise. That was awesome. I can ride off into the sunset and not have to play any more Metal Gear Solid. And then Metal Gear Solid 5 comes along, and I didn't care. I had absolutely no interest in it. No desire to play it, no desire to buy it, no desire to even experience anything to do with it, because I don't care. When you're not interested in a franchise anymore, when you're not interested in the game, you just don't care anymore. But from what I heard, it had pretty good reviews, and so whatever, I don't give a fuck. I also understand Fallout 4 I think also had pretty good reviews, but I still have Metal Gear Solid 4, I still got Fallout 3, I got Fallout New Vegas, so I got all these games lying around. I still have those games. I can just pick it up right now and play them. You know what I'm saying? On the PS3, I fuck with the PS3. So Fallout 4 and like Metal Gear Solid 5, all these newer games, and the games that came out last year that got really high reviews, I don't have any interest in them. Because I feel like it's more of the same. Graphics are a little bit better, probably a little bit more choices and different things you can do, a little bit more additions, but at the same time, I'm not compelled to get them and play similar type games, because I got the PS3. The PS3 is an awesome system, guys, and I'm sticking with the PS3 for whatever. I'm trying to fucking, until the fucking thing is no longer, like, interesting. I love the PS3. And for me to just go to the next generation and shit, I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to fucking leapfrog into the next generation and just skip out on the PS3's era. I haven't played every good game on the PS3. It's still a massive, like, library. I still gotta get through a lot of these different games. That's what it means to be a gamer, in my opinion, is to play every awesome game in your system. So, you have to experience everything. Instead of fucking, well, you play like 5 or 6 good games on the PS3 and then you move on to the PS4. Or you play like 5 or 6 good games on the Xbox 360 and then you move on to the Xbox One. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. That's horrible. What a shitty way to fucking be a gamer. To just like miss out on everything that's like a lot of different little games that came out in the 360 and the PS3 and all that. It's like you're passing by. You're missing out on some of the little gems and the awesome like little games that you've never tried before in the last generation. But anyway, that's my opinion on 2015. 2015 to me was a really weak year from everything that I've seen, all the reviews and all the games that came out that were like disappointing games. But then again, I haven't really spent too much time thinking about 2015. I felt like 2015 was a bit of a transitional year between the 7th generation and the 8th generation, the current gen that we have now. And so I think it's just going to keep getting better. They're going to keep getting better games in the next couple of years. So that's something to look forward to, is the future. It looks brighter for video games. Let's move on. Leonel, this one is question number 8 from Leonel. Or, again, maybe not a question, but more of a phrase, a paragraph. Yeah, so anyway. What's going on, man? I just wanted to say to watch a review on Smash Bros. Being for kids, and that I agree with everything you said on it. I used to like playing Smash, but I got so fed up with it because I don't like how people play the game, and I don't like people try to take it so seriously. Like you said, it is for immature, brain-dead idiots who have most likely never played a real fighting game and praise it like it is the best game in the world. I recently got into a little rant with some friends about it, and they were so stubborn to admit that it's a chaotic and out-of-control kids game that falsely makes people believe that they are good at video games. Power to the real fighting game. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, and Killer Instinct. I know there are others as well. Definitely, I liked pretty much every game that you mentioned. Let's see. Yeah, Guilty Gear. Like, even with Guilty... I don't think I've ever played Have I played a Guilty Gear game? I don't remember ever playing Guilty Gear. So that's one of the fighting game franchises that I probably missed out. I can just, I can go to PSN and buy it, but I've just been really lazy. But as far as Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, definitely classics. I do fuck with, what's the other one? Blaze Blue. I fuck with the Blaze Blue, so I've heard that was a little bit similar to the Guilty Gear series, but... that's what I heard. Yeah, as far as Smash Brothers, well, that was basically like, that was a fanboy reviews. So that was a little bit of just me being a dick, being a freaking, the character, just putting on an entertainment kind of thing. It's just a satire thing, not really meant to be taken too seriously. But I think the best fanboy reviews are the ones that has elements of truth to it, elements of my own personal feelings. And some of those, the stuff that I mentioned was some of my own personal feelings regarding Smash Bros. That it isn't it's not like a real fighting game that we would think of. It's not a traditional fighting game. It's not a Tekken. It's not a Street Fighter. It's not a Mortal Kombat. It is a fighting game, but it's more like a brawling game. It's more like a chaotic 2D, like two-dimensional kind of experience. It's more of a using weapons, and you can different directional. You can go from left to right, and freely. And it's not a typical traditional fighting game. So it's a fighting game with an asterisk. It's a fighting game with an asterisk. And so I would never call it a real fighting game, in that we would think of like a fucking Street Fighter, or a Mortal Kombat, or a Killer Instinct, or a Guilty Gear, or a Dead or Alive, or any of those awesome fighting games. But I enjoyed Smash Bros. Most when it's single player. When I would play the little the challenges and the little mini games that they would have. So like if you're Captain Falcon, that's my favorite character is Captain Falcon. He would go through the different like obstacle courses and stuff like that, try to destroy the shield and destroy the little icons on the screen and gather the fucking items and stuff like that, and go through the stage almost like a platformer. I like that, and I also like the single player. The little thing we got to go through the different characters. You got to fight through the boss, and then you got to fight that giant hand thing that would poke you. So I do like that. As far as the multiplayer aspect of it, I definitely I wasn't really that good at it, so a part of me just didn't like it because I wasn't very good at it, and I felt like it was way too chaotic. So those are the real elements that come out where it's like, fuck the multiplayer of Smash Bros. Like, man, fuck this. It's not really that fun. Because I didn't have that much fun, because I wasn't good at it, and I felt like it wasn't really that enjoyable. I felt like with fighting games, I would kick my friend's ass at Killer Instinct. Those kind of fighting games where I would whoop ass. Street Fighter, I would whoop ass. Mortal Kombat, I would kick ass. But with Smash Bros, I would get my ass kicked. I'm the one who, always, I'm losing against, my friends in multiplayer, and I'm like, man, fuck this game. This game sucks, because it's not like Street Fighter. It's not like Killer Instinct. It doesn't have that one-on-one feel. It feels way too chaotic. You put on 4 or 5 different characters on screen, and it's like this fucking chaotic thing, and it's like exploding fucking items and weapons and exploding things that you can pick up, and god damn it, man, it's not a real fighting game. Fucking Smash Brothers. Like, yeah, it's fun, and it's fun for the kids, and it's fun with the little the mascots and the different little brand names and stuff. That's cool. It's a novelty. To see all the Pokemon characters, and they come out, and to see some of the guest characters like Mega Man and all that. Yeah, that's cool and everything. It's kind of gimmicky. it's gimmicky for sure, but at the same time, it's like, it's really not my cup of tea. It's not the best fighting franchise of all time. Yeah, it sold a lot, but that's because it's probably one of the more fun games on the Nintendo systems. The Nintendo doesn't have that many great exclusives, so unfortunately, it is what it is. That's why it's so successful, is because it's a simple game to learn. It's easy it's accessible. The controls are accessible and all that, but it's just not my thing. It's not as complicated as other fighting games. All right, question number 9. This is from SAG. What is your favorite video game of all time? Also, what's your favorite console from the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s generation? My favorite video game of all time would probably be a fighting game, maybe something like a Tekken 5, or one of those, Killer Instinct on the Game Boy. I don't know, whatever the fuck. It's a fighting game. Any fighting game. Usually, I like most fighting games. Tekken, Street Fighter, those kind of, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I thought was pretty good. Also, what's your favorite console from the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s? From the 90s, Jesus, probably the Super Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo. Classic 2D gaming. It has never been duplicated since. The closest would be the Game Boy Advance in the early 2000s. Awesome early 90s console. To this day, hasn't been beaten by any other 2D console. The Genesis was really good too. The 2000s. The PS2 was my personal favorite, although the PS3 is also a fucking beast, but I have to go with the PS2 on that one. The original Xbox was really strong too. I gotta go with the PS2. I'm sorry. And the 2010s generation, I would probably go with... Oh, god damn. Because it continued, I would probably go with the PS3. It's not like, the PS3 died. I know it ended technically, but it continued in the 2010s. If not the PS3, if you don't want to count the PS3, then, fuck. That's a tough one. What the hell, man? To be honest, I have no idea. The 2010s? Maybe the Xbox One, just because it's got Killer Instinct on it, and it's got, certain exclusives that seems, like fucking... I'm trying to think right now. But then again, the PS4 also has its exclusives and some of, the titles that came out. The 2010s, I really don't know. That's going to be up to the younger people, I don't fuck with the 2010s gaming too much. Alright, question number 10. This is from Rika. Hello, the review space. Do you watch any animes or cartoons at the moment? If so, which ones? I was a big fan of Sailor Moon from over 20 years ago, and today's anime are really not that interesting anymore. Anyway, thanks. Oh man, anime or cartoons. My favorite cartoon of all time would probably be The Simpsons from the 90s. Funny as hell. At the moment, though, there's nothing that I can think of. I think there was one that I tried to watch, which is like Burberry or Brickleberry or some shit like that. It was basically like a rip-off of Family Guy. Not a rip-off, but the same style, the same approach as Family Guy, the same kind of humor. Brickleberry or something like that. But it really wasn't that good. You know, it wasn't as funny as Family Guy. Back when Family Guy was like super funny. So, as far as anime, Naruto. The Naruto Shippuden, Death Note, those are like my favorites in the past like 10 years, but I haven't really kept up with anime too much. I used to watch anime a lot more, like 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. I used to watch like, oh god, like Love Hina, some of the older ones. I think I tried to check, like Blood Plus, what the hell was the other one? God damn. There was a bunch of other... I used to love Avatar, The Last Airbender. Yeah, that was awesome. That's probably the best, if not one of the best, from the 2000s decade. Like, one of the best, like, cartoon, anime-style cartoons from the past, like, 10 years. That was so great. Damn. So, let's go check out the other questions. Okay. This might be the last one. Question number 11 from G Noise. Yo, I'd like to know your opinion on No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. I know it's a cliche at this point, but more like one man's lies. One man's lies. Now listen. That fucker, that piece of shit, that fucking guy that was doing the interviews and the press, and he was doing like promotion for the fucking game, and that was like a year ago or a year and a half ago, where he was talking about No Man's Sky and he was hyping it up. You know that dude. You guys know what I'm talking about. He went on like talk shows and he did promotion work. He was talking up No Man's Sky and he was putting it over. You can do all kinds of different things on it, and then it fucking came out and you couldn't do a lot of the things that he promised. And a lot of the things that they advertised was not available. So I'm watching all these reviews from like Angry Joe and all these different people around YouTube and on the internet, and most of them were like, this is disappointing. This is a fucking piece of shit. It's not what we were promised. No Man's Sky is a piece of trash. Like, maybe at the beginning it's kind of fun, you know, it's novelty, but it becomes a repetitive fucking nothing game. Like, it's Minecraft without the fucking fun. That's what they fucking told me. That's the message that I got. But as far as No Man's Sky, I mean, that's what you get for buying into the hype. You know, for the people that bought it and then they bought it right away, it's like you buy into the hype. That you never fucking buy into the hype. You never do. Especially when it comes to video games nowadays, because they fucking lie. So you gotta wait for it to come out and then see the scores and see the critics and see the fans, see the user scores. More importantly, I would say the user scores are more important than the fucking critical scores from like IGN or whatever. You know, that's even more important because that's the real fans. So that's it. It is what it is. It was a fucking shitty game that came out. It got a lot of hype, and I don't see myself ever really fucking getting into it. And if people enjoy it, whatever. But I don't care. I'm sitting here playing a fucking DS game called Hyperspace. It's in outer space. You're shooting it. You know, it's a shoot 'em up. I'd rather play that. That's fun to me because I can play that over and over and over again. I would sit there and play that for like an hour straight. And I feel like 5 minutes went by. That's how fucking fun that game is. As far as No Man's Sky, no thanks. I don't care. So that's it for this episode of Q&A on the review space. If you guys got any questions, send me a PM. You can send me a PM on the front page or whatever. Just click on my name and it's going to be on my about page and you can send a message there. So that's it. If you guys want any questions answered, let me know. I can't guarantee you it's going to be answered right away. You know, it might take 2 years or 3 years or whatever, but I'll try to get around to it for sure. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. And until next time, peace.